Chris Griffin. Welcome to the next generation.
Thanks for having me, bro.
The fact that you give grade is how you'll improve. Honest self-assessments dance us back into our groove. Because if you shoot for an A and end up with a B, it's worth more than an F when you try to make a C. Be best at what you're good at, not better at what you're not. Win again at what you won before you fight with what you fought. When certainty is clear and your sight is just as valid, thank the garden of knowledge for the greens in your salad. And when more than you can imagine exceeds your expectation, bet on and believe it's more than a vacation. When the company's enjoyed alone and with yourself, and you can but don't want to be with anyone else, congratulate the mirror because you've just pulled off a coup. Now get out there and practice being good at being you.
When none of it matters and nothing's in vain, there's no need to use your blinker when you're changing lanes.
What does that mean to you?
Man, it's much deeper than the words. It's the guy writing them. I think it's the charisma that he has, the way he delivers the things. Think about the amount of joy we've had from that one poem in the last couple of weeks. Imagine creating an impact that's so valuable that the way you speak inspires people. The way the words leave your mouth make people have so much joy. That's what Matthew McConaughey does. You had never even consumed anything from him, and we went to this live event, and you were hooked. I don't even watch movies. He's my favorite person in the world. And I don't even watch movies. He's an actor. There's something so profound about the charisma that comes through what he writes and what he speaks that it inspires me to leave an impact quite similar, if not greater.
It's been an inspiring 2 weeks. We've been here in LA. We've been helping each other out. We've been producing podcasts. Look at where we are. And that was a pretty cool way to start the trip, going to Matthew McConaughey live with John Mayer playing the guitar to his poems. And what it made me realize, and we spoke about this on the walk back, is that no one can beat you at being you. And I feel like we've taken that in our stride this whole trip. And doing podcasts back to back with you on recording days, it's helped us both sharpen our approach because we see what our strengths are and we take our weaknesses and improve them by looking at the things that you might have that I lack and vice versa. And I'm just looking around now and I'm like, now that we've got that solved, who's going to fucking beat us?
I'll answer that for you. No one. Before I launched the show, I never compared myself to anyone but the greats. Delusional. There's a level of absurd confidence that comes with anyone that's achieved greatness. Hormozy talks about the superiority complex. Like, you genuinely think that you're better than me, and I genuinely think that I'm better than you. And that's why it works. Because if you thought you were second best, you would not be pushing me the way you are. And if I thought I was second best, I would not be pushing you. That's what makes it win. When we talk about being authentic, there's only one of you, there's only one of me. And the thing that the thing that I've been reminding myself of is the game is not meant to be won if the game is not one you should play. The game that you should play is the game that serves you and the game that fits you. And the moment you try and blend into someone else, you're never going to beat them at their game. You know, I've been touring around for the last 9 weeks now, interviewing people, and it took me 7 of those weeks to realize that I can't build the biggest in the world by copying someone else. I've got to pave my own way. And this is what we're doing here. There's no one doing what we're doing. I don't care what you say. Dude, are you kidding me, man? Like the thing about Matthew McConaughey is there's no one else like him. When we were walking back from that show, I said, try and think of anyone that's remotely close to Matthew McConaughey. There isn't. He's mastered being himself. And through the authenticity, everyone wants to be their authentic self. Everyone wants to be their best self from seeing what he does. Like the energy that you give off when you're being yourself radiates far greater than anything else. Authenticity is the biggest superpower. The moment you try and be someone else, the moment you will literally attract no one, because you're not going to give off this spark, this aura, this energy that makes people want to be around you, because you're just going to be like someone else and you're going to have nothing unique about you. And I just don't think that gets you far. It can get you to a place, but it won't get you to the best. You can't be the best playing someone else's sport.
And here's the thing. You think you're better than me, and I think I'm better than you. And if we're both being ourselves, we can both be right. We can both be right that we're better than each other, because no one's going to beat you at being you. And this is the thing. Even just breaking this down to a numbers game, you are much more likely to succeed if you're not competing with anyone else, because there's no competition for being Chris Griffin. And that's where I think people go wrong nowadays. People are so obsessed with copying formulas, and I think that's forwarded by algorithms incentivizing us becoming more and more the same. You see thumbnails on YouTube and everything looks like a Diary of a CEO video, or whatever it may be, and it runs deeper than that with how people show up as a person. Why do you think so many people are so hesitant to just be their own character nowadays?
They don't think they're valuable enough. It's a confidence thing. If you truly love who you see in the mirror, why would you want to be anyone else? like, if you're just trying to be someone else, you're just not confident that yourself is valuable enough to be. It's a confidence thing. Like, when you truly are thriving in who you are, you don't want to be anyone else. So if you want to be authentic, the answer is to feel like you can thrive in your own skin. So if the person that is authentic is the one that thrives in his own skin, your only job is to thrive in your own skin. And the great part about that is all mental. You can choose that. It's not got anything to do with the way you look. It's got something to do with how you perceive that you look. It's all mental. So if you are not confident, you can change that. Easier said than done, but I think ultimately if you're confident with who you are, you're never trying to be someone else. When you're truly confident with where you're going, you don't even care about what everyone else is doing. You're so tunnel vision. Whenever you're comparing and you're kind of dwelling on the lack of progression that you've made, it's never when you're progressing very fast. It's when you're stagnant, right? And so when you're stagnant, you lack the confidence, which is then when you bleed out into all these other things. You maybe look at what someone else is doing and want to copy what they're doing, or gain inspiration from what someone else is doing, or go, oh, that's working, let's copy that formula. But the only way to really be great is to create your own formula and do that thing, because the person that you're copying made that formula for them, not you. And so copying them is basically guaranteeing that you won't be you. You'll be some subpar, lame version of them.
Let's lay the context out here. We've been in LA for the last 2 weeks. We've been in a couple of different locations in LA, and we've been putting this podcast together. We're literally sat at this ridiculously big table that we carried in ourselves, and we're recording this by ourselves, just us two, set up in this warehouse. And it's been a pretty insane ride. Talk to me about over-optimization.
I think you over-optimize too much. I made a few rules on this tour. One of them is when I'm training, I'm not listening to my podcast for prepping for my next guest. When I'm on a run, I'm on a run. I'm not prepping. And if I was to over-optimize, I would be listening to that on 2x speed while I'm running and getting the most out of it. But what I found was when I was over optimizing, doing the things I was doing, like training or like having some time alone, that is helping me recharge and be my best version of myself when I do show up on game day, I don't enjoy those things as much. I don't feel satisfied doing those things. If I'm playing a podcast in the gym, almost every single time my gym session is subpar comparatively to if I was playing music. I'm not lifting as heavy. I'm not in the groove. I'm not in the mood as much. I'm stopping every now and then because I'm taking notes. I leave the gym and I do not feel the euphoric buzz that I would feel if I gave that gym session my all. And the reason I gave the gym session my all is so I can show up to everyone else and to millions of people all around the world in front of this camera in the way that I know I can when I've showed up for me first. When you over optimize in every way, shape or form, I think it takes away from that magic that you can't quantify. And I think it's a superpower. Like, we will be we'll be getting out of like chaos traffic, turning onto a main road mid-conversation, and you're playing a podcast in 2x speed and like fucking like absolutely like trying to like, I can't even understand what they're saying, let alone make sure I'm getting on the road in the right way and answering the question that my friend has just asked me. And I just wonder whether over-optimizing is actually the answer. And I don't know if it's optimal.
Sounds like a skill issue, bro.
Potentially. Maybe I just don't have enough IQ. You know, I was pretty dumb growing up. I mean, I wasn't dumb. I was not interested in the things I was learning. And so I wasn't interested. So of course I didn't want to do it. It wasn't the fact that I was dumb, but I definitely didn't want to learn. But I just didn't know what I liked. And so, but yeah, I mean, look, it definitely could be a skill issue. But I think there's something magic about being able to be in the space that I'm in and kind of dedicating myself to that space.
Well, I've set a few rules for myself that I've stuck by religiously the last 2 years. And they seem so trivial because they last such a short period of time, but that's why they're important. They're easy to hold to and they have the greatest impact on your day. So, no phone, music, scrolling or anything when you take a shit, take a shower, or you take a shave. You can't have your phone at any point. I try to stick to that when I'm on the way back from the gym as well, when I'm driving. I've got that euphoric feeling and I want to sit in that. And I try to hold to that as much as possible in other scenarios. Although there is a time and place for a 2x speed podcast when it's prep time. But I think you're touching on something important, which is this inability for man to sit in silence alone in a room. And I think I've struggled with that a lot in the past. I don't think I struggle with that now. But it's so important to give yourself space to just be alone with your thoughts and to let the magic come, because there's a saying called shower thoughts for a reason. And it's not this woo-woo shit that happens randomly. Like, there's science behind why you will have your best thoughts in the shower when you're kind of half occupying your mind with something, but you're also letting your thoughts come through in the purest form. And I think that's what we've been stripped of, like, greatly, thanks to stuff like social media. And the problem is, the highest impact thoughts you're going to have throughout the day that move the needle and give you complete clarity on what you need to do, they're in the most trivial times where it's easiest to just scroll for a couple of minutes. If you had to scroll for 90 minutes on TikTok to prevent yourself from having shower thoughts, then no one would do it because that's high input, right? But the point is, the things blocking you from having the biggest decision-making power are tiny. And it just takes a couple of minutes of distraction to get you out from that flow state. So that's what I've been working on over the last couple of years. And I've noticed that it gives me this protection where anything I would have forgotten that was on my to-do list, it comes back to me because I have at least 3 touch points in the day where I'm just left alone with my thoughts.
Socrates, I think Socrates says, I've got a busy day today. I'm going to meditate 6 hours instead of 3. And that's this emphasization of doing the thing that maybe seems like a waste of time, but it's actually the most important. But you said protection, use the word protection there, but I'm going to come back and challenge you on this thing where you said, I don't have this challenge anymore. There's something wired in men that makes it feel like it's only acceptable sharing a negative emotion when we're on the other side of the hard time, not while we're in it. It's what we do. We don't like sharing pain when we're in it. That's a defense mechanism there. You saying, I don't think I struggle with that now. Because I think you definitely do. We all do. This week's been chaos. I've had the most insane shower thoughts this week. And I think it's because of how chaos the week's been. All my best thoughts this week have been in the shower. No, not even kidding you. And I think it's because we've been redlining every other second of the day.
Yeah.
When I get a moment to just put my head under the hot or cold water and just sit there, something comes to me. And there is this thing around we don't feel like it's acceptable sharing a negative emotion when we're in it. It's when we get to the other side. It's what happens with men. Women, it's a bit easier for them to share it while they're in the hard time. But men, we don't really like to. And I know what the women think. The women think, man, like, why do men have to be like this? Like, why can't they just show their pain? And I just think they don't understand that aspect of us. There is this element of us where we go, no, like we can only share it on the other side. And as much as it can get hard at times, we like to just keep things to ourselves. And I think the realization here is because we're playing a game against ourselves and no one else. And like we need to go through that hard time. I'm realizing more and more that like we censor this thought because we need to go through that hard time, because then when we achieve all the goals, when we achieve all of the things that we want, we can sit here and actually be proud because we've overcome all the stuff. And I think there is a difference point there with men and women, where women feel like they can be more open. And, you know, maybe the media is projecting that men should be more open. But I think there's this element of a man that going through the challenge alone, there's some magic in that. And I think this silence piece is something that we really need to come comfortable with, and we need to be okay being alone and being in the silence, because it truly is the superpower. It means we don't need to rely on anyone else.
Yeah, we're wired for solutions, especially some of us more than others. Like, I've noticed it in myself over the last couple of months, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I wonder downstream from this if I keep on becoming just solutions oriented, if I'm just going to become even more of a robot. Because what I've noticed the last week, when we have been redlining, going non-stop with podcasts, networking, dinners, gym, repeat, edit, manage team, I just don't really care about anything that people say unless it's guiding us towards a solution. And you probably noticed that in me. Like, okay, cool, you're saying all this fluff, but what's the solution here? Like, what's the problem, first of all? And like, how do we solve it? How do you balance having a predilection for solutions without just becoming a robot with no compassion?
I just think it's understanding which relationship it is. You're on a fucking mission, man. Kind of got to be. What, we're just going to sit here and dwell on the problems? Like, we're putting out fires all fucking day. Like, a team doesn't do what we wanted to do or what they said that they were going to do. It's our fault. Like, it's a leadership problem. It's like, what, do you just sit here, complain and talk about like the problem and kind of marinate in it? Or do you just think about what you're going to do? Now, having no compassion and empathy for, say, maybe your loved ones or your wife or your partner, which none of us have right now, like, this is quite important. When I look at the best business people in the world, I look at the biggest business people that I've ever spoken to, the common denominator in all of them is they have this ability to close one door and open another, a completely new person. The biggest business people have to have 5 different conversations within 5 different hours. They need to go into a boardroom with their investors and they're in the red, and they've got to basically go into this boardroom and sell the investors that everything's all good. We've just had a bad month, but things are going really well. Sell the vision of the investors that have put all this money into the company, but meanwhile they're in the red and they lost money this month and they don't really know how they're recovering from it. Then they walk out of that room, and then when they close that boardroom and they walk into their office, all their staff are excited because it's Monday and it's payday today and they're all getting their pay, but the boss doesn't even know how they're getting paid, right? Then what they have to do is close that door, work on some sales and go to a prospect. And the prospect goes, why should I choose you over the other companies? You're battling demons because the company's on a decline, but you've got to sell the vision that you're the best over everyone else. And you've got to basically close that whole door with the employees and then walk into a new one. Then when you finish that, you then drive home, get caught in all this traffic, get pulled over by the police. Then you go back home and your wife has been waiting for you to come home all day and she has dinner at the table. And then when you sit there, you have to, and she asks you, how was your day today, babe? You have to say, yeah, it was good, because you don't want to freak her out and make her feel like that they're going to lose the house and things are going to come crumbling down. Your ability to understand who you're speaking with and change your communication based on what they need in that moment is the superpower. If you can do that, you're in the top 1% of all communication. And so to answer your question and tie all of this in, I don't think it's a bad thing to be solution-oriented based on who you are speaking to. If you're on a mission and you're speaking to someone that's relevant to that mission, there is no point speaking about the problem. But if you've got your wife or your partner, and I'm a single 23-year-old naive man, I have no idea, but if your partner is coming to you and she has a really big pain that she's been going through, I don't care if you think it's petty. You need to make her feel seen. And so understanding who you're speaking to and adapting your communication based on that will make you human. Business is hard, and sometimes you need to be a bit more direct, and sometimes you need to not dwell on anything. And I think we just recognize that and become really good at switching between these characters. And it's not about being unauthentic. It's just about doing what's right for the moment.
Yeah. I wonder if there's something in going the opposite direction and not opening different doors and closing them, but just being completely honest at all times. And being completely honest doesn't mean laying everything out on the table and me telling you that I just dropped a shit in your toilet before we came and recorded and left a massive skid mark, which I did. But not trying to hide anything and lie. And I've been toying around with this and following it pretty religiously. Like, of course, I'm going to lie probably multiple times a day because I'm a human and I'm a 20-year-old and I'm on a mission. But I'm really like trying actively not to lie. I think it opens up so many different bad doors. And I wonder if you follow that, if you have to stress a lot less and worry a lot less about these different suits that you're putting on and just go, look, I'm going to show up and I'm going to be so good. I'm going to be so honest that I'm not intertwined in all these different lies and all these different messages conflicting that I have to uphold to different people and memorize. I'm just going to show up and be so good that no one can deny me.
I just think true leadership requires you to be a bit more adaptable, because sometimes you need to meet them where they're at. And a true leader will be able to do that and eat the cost of being the leader.
I think you can have both at once. Like, you can meet people where they're at and be truthful and not have to go against where you are at too.
Yeah. And I don't think, I think it strips all back to confidence again. Because if you truly have a lot of doubt that, say, your company's not going to work, then maybe you should be a little bit honest, because then if shit hits the fan and your employees have nowhere to go, bit of a dick for not telling them and hitting it on them when it's gone under. But if you're so confident with where you're going, the mission, and you're in a little bit of a hiccup, we've got to understand and respect that most people probably don't have the same emotional callousing that you have, because you are the leader, and the position that you've got yourself into means that you've probably gone through a whole lot of shit. So shit doesn't faze you as much as the people that you're maybe communicating with in these examples. So You may not perceive what you're going through to be a storm. You don't know how to pay payroll, but you've been in that position 8 times before. But this new employee has never missed his pay before. You tell him the business is struggling, he freaks out unnecessarily. I don't think that's appropriate. But if you can have the confidence that, no, okay, payroll's going to be paid. It's shit. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to work until my eyeballs bleeds to do it. And then they're going to be fine. I think that's true leadership. And I think even if we look at leadership in a relationship, at least a desire that I have is like, I want to shield my partner from as much challenge, pain, and hardship as physically possible. And I don't think she needs to know about that, because that will just add more stress and it will make her feel less safe, and she'll be way further away from her feminine, her true feminine, which is what she wants and it's what I want. And it's not about hiding shit from her as well. And I think that's really important to note too. You be honest with her. But if you're just a soppy mess and you're just being transparent, and the reality is a lot of the time what's going on in an entrepreneur's mind is a storm. If you just be honest with her all the time, she's not going to be able to deal with that the way that you can deal with it. And so I think there is this medium and this dance between being honest and over honest, or sharing excessively. Always being honest, never lying, but maybe just limiting the amount in which you're sharing. But if they ask, tell them.
And I think that comes down to emotional regulation. If you are good with controlling your emotions and your impulses, you will not feel a desire to articulate everything that's going wrong, because you're just going to go, no, I'm going to fix this. This doesn't move the needle for my partner in any way. It doesn't help them. It doesn't make them happier. It doesn't make them feel safer. They won't appreciate me sharing this information. And by the way, I can solve it within 4 hours if I just knuckle down on my laptop.
Yeah. Or if we even just strip it back even again, is if you are truly confident that it's just a little hurdle, it's not a tsunami, it's not a problem in your eyes. So when she asks if there's any problems, you just actually genuinely don't think it's a problem. Most of the problems that maybe someone that hasn't gone through much stuff, most of their problems are probably not problems for someone that's gone through a lot. And so maybe the more seasoned person is just not even going to voice them because they're not even thinking they're a problem in the first place. Someone goes, babe, how's your day been? What have been some of the challenges? It's like, what one person might say, oh, I was driving home and it's got so many red lights, so annoying. And that's their biggest problem for their day. And someone might have had something that's an absolute storm. I think a good way to tie this in is when you finish a hard workout and you're sweating, right? And you walk out and you get the fresh breeze. Does the breeze feel cool on you? Feels like refreshing and cold, right? But that same breeze would melt ice. The temperature of the breeze has not changed. But based on where you are at in your life, it's changed. The effect has changed. One thing's extremely hot, one thing's extremely cold, but it's the exact same temperature.
Mm-hmm.
This applies to everything in life. I think we are in different phases in our life, and based on how much we have gone through prior, the hard workout to increase body temperature, you're hot and sweaty, the temperature is going to be less cold on you or less hot on you. And so looking at this and just realizing that like a summer breeze is actually not that cold, but because the temperature is hot, it feels cold and refreshing. And so what are all of the things in our life that we are maybe more seasoned at? That breeze is going to be a different temperature to others.
I think from what I've gathered this podcast so far, most of the people listening and watching will be buying into us. They'll be interested in the journey and how we're progressing as driven individuals with this huge goal. How does your love life play into all of this whilst you try and build the #1 podcast in the world?
I would get married tomorrow with the right person. I'm ready, dude. I want a kid. I want a family. Like, I interviewed someone probably a year ago now, And he's like, you want to make real money? Have kids. You'll never work harder in your life. And he was late 20s, had 2 kids really early. And when I heard that, it pivoted for me. People seem to think that they need to not have kids when you're on a mission. But I truly believe that we have 24 hours in a day. And I guarantee you we're not being optimal with those 24 hours. When you've got a kid, when you leave home, you don't want to be out for any longer than you should be. I guarantee you're going to be more efficient because you know that every minute you're spending away from your wife and kids that are at home. Like, for the right person, I am fucking ready. If I wasn't financially good, then I wouldn't be ready because I just think that will just add an unnecessary stress into your life. I think once your finance box is ticked, then it's more of a reason to have kids. But it all comes down to the right person. Like, I'm not rushing into anything. I'm not looking for anything. But in the event that something comes up, I'm in. Like, let's go. And I just don't think I'm too young. I don't really, I don't see it as any limiting factor. I don't see my life getting worse in any way by having a partner or having a kid. I think the moment that happens would be the moment I absolutely slingshot into the greatest thing that's on the fucking earth. Not the greatest thing that I would need an ego death to slam on my face to remind me that I don't mean shit. But like, that will be the moment that things change, because once you've got someone, then you don't need to chase women. You don't even have a thought around like, oh, I'm traveling. Who's in this city that I can meet up with? I have these thoughts every other day, right? Like, you don't have to worry about any of that. You can just put your focus on where it actually matters. And so, yeah, for the right person, I would love that, and I would treat them like an absolute princess. But I really want my partner to want to be a mum, and I want her to want to have children, and I want my children to be parented by my children's parents, not other parents. And so these are all desires that I want, and I think it's a massive part of life. And I don't see any value in holding off in the event that everything made sense. Like, I have the right person in my life.
Does it scare you?
Nah. It scares me waiting too long. But I wouldn't even say I get scared. I know what's going to come. But I just think that I think the messaging that's going on online is extremely ridiculous. Like, live it up in your 20s. It's like, you fucking kidding me, mate? Like, what are you on about? I don't know. Like, I mean, look, with men, we have a bit more time. We're fortunate in that sense. We can pop out a kid way later. But equally, I want to kick the footy with my son and run around with him, and like, I wouldn't mind being relatively young. I'm not in a rush, and this is the key note. But like, I'm not holding off. I don't see the value. I've lost count of the amount of women I've slept with. I'm not proud of that, but the reality is I went through periods where I was having mindless sex, waking up, waking up with a woman next to me that I don't even know who her name is. And I did this so often. Like, I'm not proud of these moments, but I've had enough of this mindless sex that I don't see any value in one night stands, quick things like this. It doesn't interest me at all. And when I had loving sex with my ex-girlfriend, and you have a gorgeous girlfriend that you love, that you have sex with, you can never, ever top that with a one night stand, because the quality of that woman, they're not going to accept a one night stand. And so you can't even get that anyway. And so, like, the best thing you can possibly get on a one night stand is not even close to some foreplay with someone that you love. And so I'm just not interested in any of this. And so I just don't get the point of waiting. I would rather just find someone that I absolutely adore and give them the world.
Well, I think it's a lack of confidence thing again. The fact that people want to just party in their 20s it's kind of operating under this presupposition of your youth being a free ticket to have an enjoyable life, even though you perhaps haven't earned it. So you better use that ticket whilst it still lasts before you get older and miserable and trapped in the corporate 9-to-5 job that's not going to pay you very much money.
Yeah.
Or you can just design a life for yourself that you actually want to live and start from a young age. But for me, actually putting the logical parts together here, it's making the most out of your 20s before you knuckle down and have a boring life. Like, that's the assumption here that's just completely false and not justified.
Well, the only reason you're going to settle down and have a boring life is because you're probably doing something that you fucking hate. I don't ever see a world in my life where I'm ever going to have a boring life ever. I love what I do. I spring out of bed in the morning with what I do. We're recording this at fucking 10 or 11 p.m. at night, and we've been up and at it all day.
1 gram of caffeine.
Like, my eyes are probably fucking red right now. Like, I love this shit. How are we going to have a boring life? I don't get this idea of settling down and having a boring life. No. But what I will also say is I respect everyone that parties. I sent it for so long. A few years of going hard, and I've had my fix. I'm grateful for all of them. I've built a lot of character from that, I feel. I feel like there's a comedy aspect that I got from being this clown. And I'm very grateful that that's in my personality now. All of that's a blessing. Is there things that if I was to relive again, would I do them? Would I not do them? Yeah, heaps. But at the same time, it's just helped shape me. I truly believe you can't have any regrets if you're truly proud of who you are. Because if you're truly proud of who you are, then every single thing that you've done, good or bad, has made you who you are. And so if you love who you are, then you can't have regret. It's actually impossible, because you'd be lying to say that you love who you are if you regret an aspect of you that has made you who you are. And I love who I am. And so I can't regret anything of those moments. I'm grateful for them. I had some fun. There was a period where they got old and I was over it. And now I don't have fun doing that. If anything, I go in the biggest shell possible when I'm in those environments. I hate it. I went from being like the center of it to like anxiety just looking at it. And a few key moments led me to that, but like now I just can't stand it. I don't even like being there. I don't even want to be there. I couldn't fathom going to that cross festival with you. I hate it. I just can't. I don't like it. And I'm okay with that. And so, but I did go through it. And whenever I look at someone that's doing it, I just look at the intention behind it. And I'm like, fuck it. You are young. It's fine. Now, if you're a woman and you're 26 and you're sending it and you've written off the idea of finding a man, well, then you're basically saying, I'm writing off the idea of having kids. And you're being short-sighted and selfish of your future, because you will get older and you will get lonely and you will get alone, and there'll be a fundamental part of your life that's missing.
And it's the same for men. And a lot of people don't realize this. Men run out of cum like a lot sooner than they would think.
I think I'm running out of cum.
Same.
Like I've just not, I think my free test is just so low.
We've just both not been waking up with boners.
Like I have not woken up with a boner in fucking ages. Like I don't really, anyway.
Or it's that we're loving our life so much that we just permanently have a boner. So there's no difference when we wake up.
I know it's there.
Yeah? It's there in the pocket when you need it.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I met up with my ex-girlfriend the other and anyway, moving swiftly along. But I do think that there's a lot of stress, and with so much stress, I think when there's stress, I think that dies down a little bit. Like your sex drive dives down a little bit.
But it's been interesting seeing my evolution and my attitudes evolve over the last year as a 20-year-old, especially doing this podcast and speaking to 40-year-old expert demographers about population collapse and whatever else, speaking to conservatives, speaking to liberals, all corners of belief. And the update is, for me, the lowdown is, my attitudes towards sex and partying and going out, they haven't really gotten any more conservative or stricter in the sense of me thinking they're more sinful or morally wrong. It's just, I've realized how much more magic there is out there. So I want a family and I want kids, and I'm not in a rush like you, but I would...
Not in a rush.
No, I mean, like you, I'm not in a rush, sorry. But again, like, if the right woman comes along tomorrow, I will marry her. So it's like, when you're operating in that paradigm and you know that that's an option, and you can sense from speaking to people and dreaming about it how much joy there will be, how much meaning there will be from looking your son in his eye. So why the fuck would I go out to a nightclub and listen to Drake and put on a fake smile and spend way too much money on alcohol so I have something to hold, so I feel less awkward when I'm next to these girls that I want to impress, and I want to look better than these other guys by wearing a bigger chain than them? And it's just such a depressing life. And like, that's the reality for most 20-something-year-olds. It's this constant cycle. And no disrespect, but I visit friends that are at university and they're like, yeah, this is the club I go to. I'm like, do you go here every week? Or like, how often do you go? They're like, yeah, every week. This is the club, isn't it great? What the fuck? How do you not go insane?
Yeah, but the thing is with this, though, is the perspective in their mind hasn't been opened. And so once you see something, you can't unsee it. They haven't seen what you've seen. So to them, it's not depressing. It's actually okay. They can live a normal life. Now, don't get me wrong, they're probably not fulfilled. But they don't know what else is out there. And so they actually can be okay in that moment. The problem with people that are self-help junkies like us that want to better ourselves is the more you learn, the less you know. But equally, the more you see, the more you can't unsee. And like, we've seen too much. We're too far gone. Not everyone wants to do what we do, because like, some people are extremely happy to be naive to what else is out there. And that's great. I need someone to clean my home. I need someone to do my dishes. And I would love a chef. We need people in these spaces, or else society doesn't operate the way it does. This is why it's all projected in that way, because society won't operate if all they taught was entrepreneurship. There'd be no fucking employees. Entrepreneurship wouldn't be a thing because we wouldn't be able to find anyone to hire. People are so fine with having ordinary lives because they don't know what else is out there. The problem is once you're exposed to more and you have the belief that you can do it, you can't comprehend anything else. I would say that there always is going to be this missing piece of like, I could be doing more. Or like, I just don't really feel that excited about my life. I don't want to leave this job because I'm scared that I'm not going to be able to find another job at the same level of my shitty job that I'm in right now. They don't word it in that way, but if they actually were a bird's eye view of their life, they'd realize that like they're just another fucking number that no one cares about. And like they're worried about their boss doesn't even care if they leave because they can just replace them like this. And so I would challenge the thought of being like, how do they do it? I understand how they would do it, but someone that's exposed to more, there's just no going back.
Yeah, and I've had this thought a lot, like going to South Africa earlier this year and realizing that with the money I had, with my mate that I was traveling with, and the people we were meeting there and the lifestyle that could be lived, it was ideal. It was perfect. It was the dream. So much magic. And I could settle down there and just call it quits. Like that would be it. and I'd have everything. I'd live like a king. I'd be able to go around the town exploring and drinking nice coffees for 50 pence, meeting pretty girls and whatever else. But I didn't want to move there properly. I've just got a place in Cape Town, but I don't plan on spending much time there because there's something else there, and it's not enough to just hunker down. So it's like, okay, what is it? What is it that we're actually pursuing here if it's not about living like a king, having the most status, about having the prettiest women, about drinking the best coffees, about seeing the prettiest sights? Like, what is it? And I don't know if I know the answer to that, but it makes you realize that there's a lot more out there to be snapped up, and perhaps we are not living the lives that people should be jealous of. They ought to be jealous of the person that can work a 9 to 5 and be content. Go home. There aren't any Slack messages pinging off. That's their time. They've got their guaranteed safe paycheck. They've got their wife. They have their kids. They have stability, and they haven't seen much more. Now, that's not to say that people should pity us because we're doing what we love the most. But I think oftentimes people want certain things and they want to be in certain positions without actually doing what it takes to get to that position. And Elon Musk speaks about this, like the whole "my mind is a storm" thing that gets quoted endlessly. I don't know. Maybe we're all exactly where we need to be, and the people that just want stability, that's fine. They don't want status. And for us, we don't want stability. We want to pursue the dream and risk everything for it.
Yeah, and where does it end? I don't know. Is it supposed to end? Fuck no. How shit would it be knowing every next move for the rest of your life? Like, get up. Oh yeah, I know I'm doing this, so I can then go and do this. So then after that, I can go and do this, and then I go and do this. Fuck that. It's how most people live their life. Like, if you think about it, they know that they're going to university for the next 4 years, and then they're going to get their master's and stay there for another 2 years, and then they might go and get their doctorate after that and stay another 2 years, and then they get into this job and they realize that, you know, it's not really for them. So then they go back to university and get a double degree in something else. And then now they know that they're set for the next 40 years. And the reason they're set for 40 years isn't because they love the job, but it's because they know that they have 30 years that they need to pay off the mortgage and then 10 years to save so that they have enough savings to retire and have enough money in their pension to be able to get their superannuation. And so, like, they kind of know what the next 50, 60, 70 years of their life look like. How fucked is that, dude? No wonder you're drained. No wonder you're unfulfilled. No wonder you don't really get excited. I look at passion. I think passion's the key here. Like, I don't care if someone is doing a job. Fucking be happy about it. Like, because you're putting yourself there. Like, you're the very reason you were in that exact spot. And I don't care what excuse you say. And I don't care if all the woke left people want to just come on this podcast or scream down my throat and say that, what about the minority? What about the LGBTQ plus FGs? It's like, no. Like, I'm talking about the majority here because that's most people. Like, let's not focus on, like, all these little percentages. You're not even in that category. It's like, I want to see your eyes light up with excitement with whatever the fuck you're doing. If that's a janitor or if that's a billionaire businessman, I don't care what it is. None of it's good or bad if you're not going to be excited about what it is. And so, yeah, I think people need to have more passion in their life.
I'm in a tricky position and I want us to workshop this because it's going to be fun.
Okay.
I've realized everything I've realized about higher order goods and not pursuing hedonism and how we're all running out of time to have kids. And if we are older, late 20s, then we need to start thinking about that shit. I think I'm in love with a 28-year-old.
Yeah.
That I met at Cross Festival.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I really want to pursue this. I see something in it.
I'm glad you're bringing this up.
Most beautiful, gorgeous girl I've ever seen. This is so fun. She's going to watch this. Fuck it. I don't care. I literally don't give a fuck. We're going to regret this so much.
We're not going to regret this at all because we're going to workshop the whole thing.
Yeah. But in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, but is this just kind of a shiny object because she's older and I want to impress myself? Like, I don't think so. But I don't know if I'm being completely honest there. I don't think so at all. Like, that's not what it is. It's genuinely, I'm into older women because I'm mature for my age. Not ridiculously older, but like she's 28. But then I'm like, okay, so what if I go after this? What if I pursue a long-term relationship? Say we're together for like 2 years. She's 30. What happens if we just break up after that? Like, I've just wasted her last few years of being able to have kids. Like, she might be able to have kids for a couple more years. It's like, that would weigh on my shoulders for the rest of my life that I dated this lady and maybe I'm the one to end it and then she's just done. Like, what do you do?
I really respect how empathetic you are for her situation. Because like what's going on in my head is not the fact that she's 28, I'm 23, we're only 5 years apart. She's 28 and her peak was 20. So she's got eight years more. And like the reality is like humans don't age like fine wine.
Depending.
I just don't think they do. And like it's like, hate it or not. And the thing is people are going to be listening to this and like 70% of my audience is women or something. I got a lot of women audience. So a lot of women are screaming down this podcast at me right now. But like I'm attracted to older women too because we get along more. Well, no, I'm attracted to 20-year-olds, but I get along with 30-year-olds. It's hard. Like the pinnacle is finding a mature 20-year-old because then you've got this youthfulness in her. She's not getting any wrinkles for a long time. And you're like physically like she's there. But like it's very hard to get along with 20-year-olds a lot of the time for us. So we just gravitate towards the older. But the problem is the older women are so attracted to younger men because they feel like they're getting old and they want some youthfulness in their life.
They want excitement.
This is why 28, 29, 30, 36, 37-year-olds are so attracted to people our age. And people might listen and be like, no, we're not. Shut up. Yeah, they are. It's crazy how much interest that age bracket has.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so wise. And they might not even bring up your age because they don't want their age to be brought up.
Yeah.
Happens all the time.
Yeah.
And so I had to battle with it too. And I just had to realize that like that's just as brutal as it is. Like I am, and I can't believe I'm saying all this on a podcast, all this stuff. But like, I'm still 12 years away from my peak.
Yeah.
She's 8 years past her peak. So like respectfully, I'm probably not going to marry a 20-year-old. Like realistically, I probably will end up with someone maybe 26 or 25 or a little bit older than me. Just the reality of how I'm getting, like how I get along with people. That's just probably what it is. But I am being cautious of this. But then again, when you tie all of this on, like you look at a couple that's been together for 40 years and they're 80 or 90. What that guy, that 80-year-old is seeing in that 80-year-old woman is completely different to what I'm seeing in that 80-year-old woman. They are in love. He thinks she's attractive. I don't. I think she's an 80-year-old woman. And so like, if you look at this, yes, we age, but that doesn't mean that you don't find them attractive because love goes far beyond just how they look. Far beyond. Like I think for me, I'm not, there's exceptions to the rule, but in an ideal picture perfect world, I want someone younger that's mature. Yeah. And so I didn't answer how you're going to solve navigating this 28-year-old that you're in love with that you met at a festival.
Sounds great.
But I do think that like there's probably a mismatch there that might make it hard. I've been there before many times.
I think also there's a thing of justifying it in my head by being like, okay, maybe she does want to feel young, so maybe we just have a bit of an adventure for 2 years and see where it goes. But that's not ultimately serving what she will want long term and what will fulfill her.
I think that's selfish because she is running out of time. Yeah, I do think it's really tough.
I think if I for a second sense that I wouldn't stay with her for a long period of time and like seriously consider her as a life partner, it's selfish to keep on pursuing that.
I think any age, any person, as soon as you think that, you need to have the courage to speak it. Easier said than done. The moment you are sticking around with someone that you have already written off, it's meaning the longer it's going to take for you to have space to invite someone new in and for them to have space to invite someone new in. This is why, like, if you've broken up with your ex or they've broken up with you, you shouldn't be hanging out with them if you don't see a future with them. Because all it's doing is by having them in your life is it's blocking you the opportunity of meeting new people and finding someone else. And the reality is like, we do need to sharpen the sword with what we want and what we don't want. We kind of need to be around and meet people and go through heartbreak and do all of this stuff and put ourselves out there and take the risk. And without that, it's going to be very hard to find our person. You know, like, I think that a man going through a heartbreak and spending time alone in transition from one partner to another is extremely important. When you look at men that go through a breakup or women that go through a breakup and then straight away they're in another one, I don't really know if that's the person, man. You just can't deal with being alone. You're so used to having someone in your corner and you have to sit on your own now and deal with that. Like, it's uncomfortable. Good. Sit in it. Feel it. See what comes up. You'd be surprised. You'll learn a whole lot more about yourself in that time than most things. And the moment you just rush into another one, you're just stripping away all of that growth opportunity. I think it's the most transformational thing for a man to go through as a heartbreak. And then you just want to try and avoid all of that growth to get in some rebound relationship because you think she's the one. No, you just don't like being alone. And so if you stay around with people that you don't think are the one for you, you're stripping away your opportunity to go through these experiences.
Yeah. I haven't had a long-term relationship for like 4 years now, since I was 16, and that was barely a relationship. Like, I can't say I was in love there or had anything substantial because I couldn't drive and we weren't allowed to go out of the town together.
You still can't drive, man.
I'm a phenomenal driver. I'm just bad at set pieces, like parking. And with that, I'm like, this is such an alien concept to me now. The idea of a long-term relationship. But I'm trying. It's not as if I'm getting denied by these wonderful women that I can imagine being my wives. It just seems like I can't find one our age. And like, obviously this is a very like black pill outlook and it might sound very incel-y. But like, there just seems to be this difference in maturity and goals and prioritization. And like, I'm sure the perfect one is out there somewhere if I dig hard enough. And like, I thought I found one a few months ago and I was traveling and that was amazing. And then that fell through. But it's like hard to be optimistic about the future when you're kind of just over here playing with honest intentions and you're not the fuckboy at the club trying to throw around clout in exchange for pussy. Yet what you want isn't coming to you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the reality is you're just not, like, the society is not, and the culture is not supporting a 20-year-old that's driven to find another 20-year-old woman that's driven. Like, they're not interested in you Of course, it's hard to find them. They don't want you. They want to party and they want to sleep around. There's exceptions to the rule. This is why I love Christian women. I'm not Christian, but I mean, I just love their values and their morals. Like when a girl says to me that, like, no, I'm not having sex. I'm like, great, phenomenal. Like my wife is not sleeping with me on the first date. If you go out to a club, most of them probably are. So to think that you'll find your wife in a place that you're not even accepting the behavior of the people in that place is pretty silly ask. And now you're not doing that. You're not really going out and doing that very much. But I also think it's like, you know, Led Hamilton was speaking a couple of weeks ago on my pod when we were at his house in Malibu. Spirituality is hard, and that's why I think it's valuable. Finding the right partner is fucking hard. And that's why it's the most magical thing in our life. It's not supposed to be an easy find. In fact, you're not even supposed to find it. You're supposed to be you. That whole saying around like you spend all your time chasing butterflies, they're just going to fly away. But if you spend your time building a beautiful garden, then the butterflies will come to you. Like I think the women that we want have options because every man wants them. And they're just going to choose the 30-year-old that's a bit more established, that has a bit more money, you know, that's developed a lot more. He's a man, not a boy. And, you know, like, and the 30-year-old's going to choose the 20-year-old because he has choice too. Because he's built himself up and he's got all the things that are attractive in a man, and he gets the choice of the pack. He's going to pick the 20-year-old. I would do the same. And so the criteria that you have for a partner to fit as a 20-year-old is one that's a very rare breed, and that rare breed of people have choice. And they're just not choosing you or me right now. And so that's why we don't find it.
But isn't that exciting?
Yeah, it's great.
Like, it is the hardest thing because it's the most important decision we will make in our life. And imagine that feeling when it comes. Imagine when you find the right one and you're looking back at this moment and you're kind of reimagining being in this position right now as you're saying your vows on the wedding day. And you think of every single time you were hitting a gym session when you didn't want to, going on that run, battling your demons, preparing for a podcast at 2 a.m. and you haven't slept properly in 3 days. All partly because you want to build that garden. And then it comes.
Yeah. Dude, it's the main reason why men are driven. You take away women from men, I'm fucking sleeping on the beach. I'll be one of those guys on the street over there. What's the point? The boys don't need much. Dude, we don't need much to be pleased. Like, let's just chase the summers, go round. I can wear some board shorts, go swimming, have deep chats, read some books. We don't need anything. Like, you take women away from men and there's no drive. Like, at all. Like, why? Why be driven? Why have a six-pack? What, to protect who? The other man? Like, I think everything is so perfect. Like, when you actually think about every little pillar of life, it's there for a reason. And when we can accept that, there's a level of peace in that because we're not trying to fight it. It's just the way it is. Like, it's the cards that we've been dealt. And we either throw in the hand or we fucking play. And besides, like, if you throw in the hand, what the fuck else are you going to do? Like, leave the room? And like, what, maybe that's what people do when they've thrown in the hand. They just escape the room by drinking and doing drugs and going to another place or being on the street folded in half with fentanyl. like they might be having a fun time, but that's because they don't like their life, so they've had to escape it to access the fun. Like, I've wrote this down a number of times, but actually, I'll tell a story. Can I tell a story?
Do it.
Are we allowed to do that in here? Cool. So before I went to America last year for the first time, I had never gone to America, but I had a trip planned. And the week before I went to America, I went to a party. I was living in Melbourne in Australia, and I went to a party. It was a house party. The plan was to, I had a bunch of work the next day, so the plan was just to have an early night. But I went there, and I wasn't drinking, but I was at a house party. Everyone was drinking. And at the time, I was like really enjoying doing some like psilocybin, doing some mushrooms. And I had some mushrooms at the house. And for me, like, that was fine. I had like a little bit of mushroom and kind of took a little bit more just to and I just called it staircasing. Like, you have a little bit more, and then you have a little bit more, then you have a little bit more until you feel at a good level. Because if you went over the top, then like you've gone too far. But like, I like to be able to staircase it. Anyway, so I had a little bit and I dripped it in to the point where I had a perfect amount. And I was just, everything was funny and laughter, and it was amazing. Perfect amount for the house party. Next minute, this massive party Hummer rocks up, and it's like this big limousine with disco lights in it, and they were going to this VIP club party because it was a house party full of influencers, and we got this VIP treatment. And I was like, oh, I don't really want to go to this party, but fuck it, like, let's just go in for a little bit. It's close to home. I'll just go in there and let's just do it. I get in this limousine thing. The amount of mushrooms I had was fine for the house party. In fact, it was amazing. It was perfect. But then when you go into an environment where it's strobe lights, loud music, heaps of people singing, dancing, I fully tripped out. Horrible experience. I'm sat in the back of this thing with like a model next to me, stunning, and I was trying to have a convo with her, and I couldn't even get my words out. I had this like whole thing where my thoughts were crystal clear. I felt sober, but I couldn't talk. Anyway, full-blown tripping, going to this party, and I'm in this like VIP party thing with all these influencers, and they're all dressed up in costumes, and like I'm looking at everyone, and I got this feeling of like everyone here is escaping their life. And every single person, I didn't see a person. I saw someone escaping. I was in this trip, and I was like, I need to get out of here. It was like I was in this massive nightmare. And like in Australia, if I'm walking down the street in Australia, like I get stopped every day, especially if you're in like a nightclub scene. Like, if you're walking down a busy street of people, when there's alcohol involved, people have no filters, so they don't hold themselves up, so they just come up and speak to you. And we're on this busy road. I didn't know how to get out of this venue, so I like run through like the entrance, and it was all crowded and chaos. I get out, and I'm like, this is a busy street. I am not walking home. I'm not Ubering because I don't want someone to see me. I'm not doing this. I'm going to walk home and try and walk this off. Wouldn't walk off, but wouldn't like wear off these mushrooms. I'm getting to the point. I'm walking home, and my mind was just racing with all of these thoughts. But the key thing was, as soon as I got home, I lay down in my bed and I wrote, when you escape your life and all you want to do is be back in your life, it's a sign you're on the right path. I did what everyone was doing, and all I wanted to do was to be sober. All I wanted to do. But most people are doing the complete opposite. Their sober life is one that they do not like at all. So they go to this state that's out of their reality to then find peace, joy, fulfillment, because it's non-existent in their actual life. And that moment changed a lot of things for me. That moment comes back up whenever I'm in these environments. And this is why I struggle to be in big crowds. I don't see people. I don't think these people are bad people. I don't think what they're doing is wrong. But when I go into these states, I see people people's dreams just getting thrown out the door, people wasting their life, people escaping their reality, not hitting their problems face on, having mindless conversation, not building any true connection. And all of these things just get to my head and they absolutely fuck with me in the moment. So I just can't be in these moments anymore. Like I genuinely, truly struggle. And from that one psychedelic experience, it kickstarted all of this. And I went to America. I was in America for 6 weeks, didn't touch a single thing of drugs or alcohol or anything. I think I maybe had like 2 beers and while we did some 2-stepping in Texas. But yeah, it's this realization that like when you escape your body and all you want to do is get back into it, you know you're on the right path. It's a good check-in point.
I feel that too, and it's terrifying looking at people that are so clearly just faking it, because all you need to do is have a bit of empathy for how they might be feeling and realize that if you were in their position, which you have been, going clubbing or whatever it may be, you're just faking being happy and you're caring about what others think. And I haven't had any psychedelic experiences, like I've never done any drugs, no alcohol, whatever. But I've somehow kind of tapped into that too when I've been going clubbing. I've just noticed like, okay, I bought this drink. And the only reason I bought this drink is because I feel too awkward in this club without holding something. Like I always hold something when I go clubbing because otherwise I feel too awkward. It's like, should you really be having to do that? Should you really be having to pay $7 for a Diet Coke so that you have something to hold whilst you go clubbing? Or is that a sign that you're just in the wrong environment? You have to do all of these quirky things and put on a smile, and then someone whips out their phone and shows the internet how much of a good time they're having, and then that hypes you up. Should you really be doing that if you're living a fulfilled life? I don't think so. And I think you should be striving for situations like this where we can't contain our laughter and it's a problem when we start recording, rather than having to put it on and demonstrate how much of a good time we're having. Like this whole trip, it's just been non-stop fun and happiness and joy and gratitude. And from what I've noticed in my brief time on this planet so far, it's been that's when you're doing the right thing, is when you're not thinking about whether you're having a good time. You're just overwhelmed by the gratitude. But to tie a loop on the relationships point as well, and what's difficult about being our age, I think it's also difficult turning something down that once made you feel on top of the world. Like for me, it wasn't excessive, but like I slept around when I was growing up in my teen years, and that was the number one thing, like above anything else. If you got laid, that's a sign of success. And you'll ditch your friends, you'll ditch commitments, you'll ditch revising to get laid. You'll sleep in, whatever. And now it's like you still have those hedonistic desires because we're apes. But you're also turning them down constantly in pursuit of this greater thing. Do you struggle with that? That sensation of wanting something so bad constantly, yet also always turning it down because you're pursuing something else at the same time that's much greater?
We just don't seem to think about the sacrifice required to one thing, and we only focus on the positive. It's so easy to turn down partying when you think about how good your morning is not being hungover. It's so easy to say no to a one-night stand and not meet up with the person when you put yourself in the shoes of after you just nutted and you want her to leave. And you're feeling how shit it is that you just had a mindless connection with a girl and probably got the girl's hopes up because now she's gained some feelings for you and gotten close, and now she's thinking about you for the next few days when you don't even care. It's so easy to turn down someone when that's how you're going to feel after it. And because you've done it so many times, you know you're going to feel like that after it. The only time we cave in is when we're not zooming out enough. It's the same with everything. Like, it's so easy to say no to eating fucking garbage when you can imagine how good you feel when you eat something good. Like, I think people are just too narrow-minded with their view. And the reason they're doing the things they want to do is because they're not zooming out enough. And that's why they end up not doing the things they actually want to do. And then they have regrets on their decisions.
What's been the best experience from this trip?
Fuck, the Matthew McConaughey thing was pretty dope. Think about walking back after that. Was that not euphoric?
Insane.
We didn't even need to say anything. There was nothing to say. Mate, it finished. We looked at each other. And we were like, that was literally it. We walked out in silence. And then we were like, fuck getting an Uber, let's walk home. We were ages away from home, dude. We're not walking home. What are you kidding? We just needed to walk.
Yeah.
With no destination in mind. As Matthew McConaughey as it gets. It's like, I'm just walking, dude. Not to go anywhere, to be any place, just to walk. I don't know why I want to walk, but I'm just feeling like I need to walk. That was us. And it was quite special. We probably hugged like 4 or 5 times. We just laughed. We were just walking and like laughing. And I think when you think about why is because we witnessed greatness. And we're striving towards greatness. And that was a feel for what greatness is. You can't recreate that. You can't recreate Matthew McConaughey reading a poem he wrote when he was 18 to John Mayer playing the guitar. That's fucking greatness. You can't go anywhere else and find that moment right there. They had never played together. And it was like they had rehearsed it for years.
Yeah.
Greatness. And that's what we're striving towards. That's why it felt so strong. Like, truly in awe. And I just think if you're not on a mission to achieve greatness, that wouldn't really be as special as it was. But that shit was special. That impacted more than most things. What about you? What's been your highlight?
I think just being sat at the desk upstairs with you, this huge L-shaped desk in the space that we're staying in. Upstairs, it's the only room. It's this little man cave with a bunch of monitors.
One light that says it was all a dream.
Mini fridge with a bunch of Celsius cans.
Not anymore, dude.
All finished. Every single one. And we just sat there on our laptops, each doing our own thing, going back and forth, buzzing between. And then we just look at each other and fucking high five. We're like, this is actually the dream. Let's fucking go.
Dude, I actually don't think people realize how much we're gonna fucking blow up, dude. I actually don't think people know like how fucking obsessed. Like, I don't think anyone can comprehend it, and that's completely fine. I don't expect anyone to. Like, I've done this whole fucking journey alone. Like, no one's understood me except my best friend Sam. Like, no one gets it. And that's the best part, because I pushed through all the times when no one got it. And I kept going till I get to a point where now I don't even need anyone to get it. Because everything that I've achieved, no one's understood. I just had to have courage and trust in doing the things that I wanted to do and knowing that I can be the one to achieve them. And just stacking enough of those wins on top makes me feel genuinely unstoppable. And then you tie that in with someone else that's on their mission and pulls each other up with the problems or the shortfalls and the things that we kind of try and slack off or take the cheap route out or not have big enough goals. Like, it's magic, dude. Like, shit's gonna fucking blow up. Like, people are gonna watch this pod back, because we're gonna be the biggest fucking things ever. And people are gonna watch this back before it. And we actually get to have this documented. Like, this moment right here. It's fucking awesome, dude.
Such an odd feeling doing exactly what you dreamt of for so long. It's so surreal. And I wrote about this. I had to write it down. This feeling of striving towards meeting Superman your whole life. You watch every Superman movie and all you want to do is meet him. It's Superman. And then one day you finally sit down with him in the pub and it's Superman. You've dreamt your whole life of meeting him. And then he's there. But there's a problem. There's no escaping who you are in that moment. Everything you've done up until that point is what has crafted you into that person that gets to sit in the pub with Superman. And that's terrifying because you want to do the dream justice. You have to do the dream justice because that's what's fueled you every second of the day, every minute, every hour, every day of the week, every month. Years on end, those small moments. And I think we all feel it. That dream, that story, that narrative that just creeps into your mind that you keep on chasing on this hamster wheel. But it's not a hamster wheel because you're slowly moving forwards until eventually you get to meet that person that you always wanted to meet. You get to be in that place you always wanted to be in. My lock screen, since I was like 10, was the palm trees outside lining these streets. And I imagined being here. I was watching my favorite YouTubers and they were all in LA. And now we're here and we've done a world first. A world first putting this podcast together. No budget. No fucking people helping us. Like what would usually cost, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of dollars maybe, and dozens of crew. Like we've done putting up these huge lights that are out of shot, struggling with our tops off and sweating.
Minutes before a recording or for recordings.
Minutes before recordings. And now we're here. We're in the dream.
And I think it's okay for the dream to change. In fact, I think it's very important that the dream changes because you evolve. And the moment you're so tied down to one dream can be a slippery slope because you onboard new information about yourself. And it takes a lot of courage to be able to change the dream, especially when you've made it public. And, you know, like my lock screen is #1 podcast in the world, but I'm not tied to the dream because something might come along that serves me and fuels me way greater and fuels all the people and the impact I'm striving to make way greater than that. And in that point in time, I'm okay with it changing. At the moment, it's fueling me. But I'm not tied to that because I don't want to be tied to anything. I want to do it and use it as a fuel because I genuinely want to. And it'd be stupid for me to think that that's always going to be the fuel. And so dreams are so important to have, but they can be dangerous if you just tie yourself to them at all cost.
And I was scared coming out before this trip. I was sat on the plane and that's when I wrote this piece, thinking about the sensation in my body. And it was kind of more like mourning the fact that this dream and the pursuit was about to be over. Because when you do meet Superman eventually, you are the person there that you've created your whole life and you can't change anything. If you suck, there's no escaping it. Yet you've always dreamt of this perfect dream that you can craft in your head. And now that we've been here, I haven't worried about that. I haven't worried about this not being the perfect experience because problems are just baked into the process and we've dealt with them and that's what makes it so much fun. And now that the dream for this trip's coming to an end, it's like, okay, on to even bigger. You just keep on shifting the goalposts. And I remember Eric Weinstein on a podcast speaking about this, speaking about how people always shift the goalposts to their goals and that they could just keep them in the same place. And now I'm just sat here and I'm going like, no, like you have to shift the goalposts. And that's what's so magical, because it means that this dream, there's no better feeling than looking ahead and dreaming. And that feeling, that can stay forever. And it only keeps on getting bigger if you let it.
What do you think will get in the way of that dream?
It's been interesting since getting here. I've been working on monetizing my podcast because I've just jumped in with 4 months or 3 months of runway now and a bunch of invoices I need to send out. So my cash flow is fucked. I need to monetize my podcast. Otherwise I'm screwed, which is hard because I don't care about money. It doesn't give me anything other than just being a tool. Like, I understand the importance of money. And if you don't have to worry about money, then you can just worry about the direct thing of creating the best podcast in the world. But it's not the same drive as something that you tie your value to. I certainly tie my value to how I show up on this podcast. It's important to me because it's the thing I care about. And I want to make an impact with this podcast. So if I do a shit job, my value diminishes immediately. But with money, I don't have that sensation. So it's much harder to chase. So I think I just need to make a shit ton of money. And it looks like I will do that in the coming months. And then there's no more money problems because money solves money problems and I can focus on the shit that I do care about and value. So that's exciting.
Yeah, well, I mean, the key is the moment you start valuing yourself massively and you have the courage to speak that value, money won't be a problem. Like when you're the prize and you're willing to show up in that way, you get paid. Like, yeah, money's an energy thing. It's all an energy thing. It's got nothing to do with the price tag, rather the perception of the price tag and what they're getting from that. And people might be like, oh, well, that's bullshit. You're going to rip people off. I remove all of that. It's like just before you had a meeting with a brand and like, I don't think you were being respected the way that you're worth. And it takes holding that worth to then be respected for your worth. And be like, no, I'm Bitcoin at $1. I'm Elliot Bewick. Like, and like when you say that, like, you're not paying me for my time. Like, you're paying for Elliot Bewick, the most up and coming podcaster in the world. This is the price. If you don't want it, I'll go to your competitor down the road. With all love and respect. And the only way you can say that is by truly believing in it and going to the fucking competitor down the road and getting that deal. I think that this money starts to flow into your life the moment you stop chasing the money. It's crazy. It's so crazy, dude. I was telling Charlie a story about that lady that walked up to me, or that locked eyes with me on the hill and said I saved her life, and she was holding her 7-year-old son in her arm. And I remember before that moment, I was just chasing money. My primary focus was just money, money, money. And I couldn't make any of it. I was fucking broke. And like when she said that I saved her life and you could see how much it meant to her, she froze. In that moment, I just went, I just need to make more people feel like that and show up in a man that can do that, and the money will come. That's when my podcast blew up. That's when I started making money. That's when my life changed. And it's just one of those things where the more you do it, the more you're reminded of your worth and the more it gets easier to make it, and it kind of compounds, and it's this weird thing. And the moment you can kind of remove yourself from the actual price tag itself, the more that number just keeps going up. And yeah, and that's why I'm saying to you, like, if the money's the only thing that's going to get in the way, then you're not going to have anything get in your way, because we'll make you money. That's not a drama. And yeah, and that's a powerful frame to live in. I feel it's so freeing, dude. So freeing. I speak about this a little bit. Like, imagine being able to make all of the decisions on the premise of the decision itself, not how much it's going to cost. Like, that life is out there. You can live. We live in a capitalistic world. You have the ability to live that life. Most people will never live it. And that's unfortunate, because I think it's the most freeing thing. The amount of times people complain about coffee prices, complain about fuel prices, complain about Uber prices, complain about the food on the menu. They don't go down the list of items, they go down the list of prices. Like, is that not fucking draining? Imagine being able to go to the supermarket and buy whatever you want because you want it. Your favorite peanut butter is not on special. You buy it anyway. Most people will just buy the one that's on special, even though they know they'd prefer that one. Imagine being able to make every one of your decisions based on what you actually wanted, not how much it would cost. That's a life I want. That's a drive. To never, ever have to think about anything that's petty. And all that shit's petty in my eyes. I spent too much of my life experiencing people go through hardship based on money, go through separation and connection, disconnection, like people just fading out of other people's lives, not because they don't like each other, because money got in the way. I don't want any of that. I don't want that for me. I don't wish that on my enemy. Like, I don't wish that on all the people trying to like clown me and say that I'm a loser. Like, I don't wish that on anyone, especially the people I care about and the people I love. And if that's not a big enough drive, then I don't know what it is. Like, I want connection in my life. I want people to like be united, not divided. And I think this money thing just divides so many families and so many households and so many friends. And that in itself is a big enough driver to make it not a problem. I don't want to talk about it. Like, the answer is not let's save money. The answer is let's make more. That's how I want to live anyway.
This has been insane. I've enjoyed just listening and trying to take everything in. That's been my priority for this conversation, and I'm still trying to do it now. It's so weird literally sitting in what you've dreamt of for so long. I mean, I remember earlier this year at the start, in like January, I was helping out on Modern Wisdom shoots. I got in, ironically enough, through someone I'd interviewed. And I sat down at this big table that was nowhere near as big as this table. And it was in between recordings. And I pulled out their mic arms and I looked at the lights. I was like, wow, just imagine being on camera and actually rolling.
We're here. Like, we're actually doing the thing.
Do you know what I was doing on that shoot?
What?
I was ironing Chris's shirts. If that's not a sign that you can envision what you want, go after it and get it, I don't know what is.
And it's always a reminder that you're on the right track when people that you look up to are cheering you on and seeing however they can to help you and support you.
It's such an odd feeling, and that's been the biggest shift, is being in the perfect position to just execute, then everything else will follow. And that's where we are. I have more clarity than ever on what we both need to do. I know exactly what we need to do. It's just time, being honest, treating others with respect, treating every single person you meet with the utmost respect, and not thinking that you're more important than them or that they don't have anything valuable to say, unless they give you reason not to treat them that way. Keeping your ego in check, giving 100%, And then let's just see where it takes us. That's all we can do. That's all we can ever do. Like, life isn't these big moments when we're sat at the podcast table after 2 weeks in LA that have been phenomenal. It's all the tiny moments, every single second, every brick in that house that you put in. That is what this is the manifestation of. And I really believe that. Every single thought, every single song you listen to, every piece of media you consume, every person you speak to, every way you treat that person, every way you treat yourself, that's what makes you or breaks you. So we've just got to stay focused on what's ahead and see where it takes us.
I'm glad you know exactly what to do. I'm still fucking figuring it out. I don't really know if I'm ever going to be able to like know exactly what I need to do. I know at the core of it, it's be authentic and say no to bad vices and follow through on the things I say I'm going to do. But like, really, I don't even know what I'm fucking doing next week. Like, I know
We're going to Mexico.
We're not going to Mexico. Like, I know I've got like shit to do and I'm going to have a to-do list that never ends and I'm going to work fucking extremely and I might hike the Hollywood sign and check that out and eat good food and hopefully meet some new faces, but like, and grow my show and like head towards the mission. But I don't really know exactly what I need to do. And I can guarantee you that for the most part of my journey, I've had no fucking idea. And perhaps the uncertainty is what stops people from embarking on the journey in the first place. But without that, then nothing's special. And so it's kind of like walking into a shop of all of your dreams and then being shocked that there's a price tag on the items. Like, they all have a cost. A lot of the time they maybe aren't presented with the price tag until you get to the counter and you're like, fuck, I got to pay this thing. But you'd be kidding yourself to think that you'd walk away without a bill in your hand. Like, everything that you want, everything that is valuable has some sort of price attached to it.
Mm.
And so you just got to ask yourself, do you want the thing? Pay the price. Like, remove the fluff. It's as black as white and white as it is. Like, that's literally it.
Mm.
Like, I think people are walking around on this like high horse that they think things are unfair. It's like, no, you fucking nerd. Like, it's not unfair. You're just a bitch. Like, man up. Respectfully. Like, things don't go to plan, good.
Mm.
That's the best thing that could have happened to you right now, because you're not growing when there's a trophy. Like, you're gonna grow in that fucking thing that fucked up. So good. And how freeing is it to actually be able to live in that lens, to know that like the worse it is, the better. It's not what you want to hear in the moment, but like that's been the most freeing thing that's just unlocked me so much. Because like then you're never expecting any good. And so when it does come in, you're fucking cheering and you're screaming, let's go. And you're pumped.
And maybe the magic is in that I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, as in every task, every second of the day. But I know how I need to show up. I know the values I need to uphold. I know that I need to keep on telling the truth, not let my ego get in the way, and give 100%. That's the basic formula. How can you lose if you give 100% of your effort, whatever that 100% might look like in the moment, to every moment, to every challenge? Okay, I'm sleep deprived. I'm so tired and I can barely speak right now, but I'm going to give 100% of what I'm able to give. And it's more nuanced than that. Maybe that 100% is fighting the urge to convince yourself that you're a dog by working really hard and actually sidestepping that and going and sleeping for 8 hours. Maybe that's the 100% capacity. And that's why we need to be careful with what we're doing. We can't just chase one form of convincing ourselves that we're good enough. Like I've done, like I always do, like I still do. But I think your life has to be a pursuit of giving 100%. And not 110% to someone. I'm never going to give 110% to you as a friend, because the 10% is fluff. It's inauthentic. I'm not going to give you more than you deserve, because you don't fucking deserve it. I'm not going to lie to you that you look better than you do or that you're funnier than you are, because the 100% I have to give to you is still enough, and it's truthful, and it's going to serve you. And you're still very fucking funny. And you're still a fucking handsome chap. So I don't need to bullshit you, because I fuck you as soon as I do that. I fuck you over by lying. And that's what's been my realization. And I just feel so much peace being like, yeah, give 100%. That's it. Just give 100%. Don't give 110.
You're either in or you're in the way. It's like, fucking give it the thing or get out of here. It's like, let's not sugarcoat it. Let's not fluff it. Let's not beat around the bush. You're in or you're fucking clogging up the path. And there's this like half-ass nature of like kind of dipping a toe a little bit. It's like, fuck, man. Like, dive in. And like, yeah. What's the point? Like, truly, what's the point of half-assing it? It's never satisfying. You never get what you want when you half-ass. You're never satisfied. You're not doing anything cool. And so you just don't feel good. And so I think there's just got to be this emphasis on like showing up and treating everyone with respect, and at the same time giving it your all in the pursuit of it, and just, yeah, going for it. Maybe that's something we should make sure that we hold each other accountable to.